morning, everyone. Peter Dew here. And today I'm going to talk to you about having one core message. I've just come back from some conventions, one in Singapore, one in Kuala Lumpur. And there was probably 30 odd speakers across the two different conventions, 1 week apart. And I've taken lots and lots and lots of notes. And as I review my notes, some of the speakers have got so much information and I'm not sure what their core message was. And then other speakers, I've got that one sentence that really captures what they've said. So my hope today is you get really clear every time you speak on that one message. And here's a really great one. So this conference was for speakers. So the big message, and he spoke for 40 minutes, the audience is thinking, so you're thinking this of me, can I trust them? Can I trust the speaker? This particular speaker was an airline pilot in Germany. And when everyone gets on the plane and the pilot makes announcements and the pilot decides to make decisions to avoid turbulence, everyone trusts the pilot. Can I trust the pilot? So when you're training, when you're presenting, when you're speaking, his core message was, can the audience trust you? And there's several ways you can make them trust you through your credibility, through your credentials, through the stories. So my question to you is, after hearing someone speak for 20, 30 minutes, after you speaking for 20 or 30 minutes, what's your core message? What are they going to walk away with that absolutely nails and ensures you've had impact and influence? So let's get started. Let me share my slide deck. All right, one message, one core message. This gives you real impact. This gives you real influence. And this helps people remember what you said, gives them confidence and enables you to have influence. The reverse is too much information, scattergun, different ideas put forward, and the audience walks out sometimes with information overload, sometimes unclear of what your core message was, and sometimes with no action, meaning you've had no influence. As always, participate, ask questions, drop it in the chat box, any comments, take notes, but importantly, it's the thinking applying to yourself. What have I got coming up? How am I going to make my core message clear? What have I done in the past? Was that message clear, or was it a little bit dispersed in the way I delivered it? Could have it been tighter? So most communication fails, and not just in public speaking and presentations, because there's too much information. Yep, a pile of information results in a lack of clarity. Less information increases clarity. Or mixed messages. I was reading today that coffee is good for you. The other day that I read that coffee may increase bowel cancer. Coffee's bad for you, coffee's good for you. That's mixed messages. So that clarity of message, too many messages and not enough clarity, just almost hiding the message within your story. So when messages are unclear, your audience knows, your audience feels it, and they feel that lack of clarity. And the reason we speak is we want people to do something. So we want to have impact, we want to have influence. We want people to remember something. And if we're not clear on our message, then that impact will be definitely reduced. So what happens when the message isn't clear? Action doesn't happen. Audiences work harder than they should, trying to stay on track, trying to piece it all together. The confidence in you, trust, as a speaker just drops a little. Key points are forgotten, and I'm distracted because you're not clear on your message and I'm getting information overload. I'm thinking about what's for dinner tonight. Maybe I'll have a nice Thai green curry for dinner. That sounds very nice. And you've lost me. So the one message rule, and that's something I teach in my workshops, the one message rule. If they remember one thing, so after today, wherever you are in the virtual world, if you bump into me in 3 months' time, 12 weeks, in the Hay Street Mall in Perth, in the Bourke Street Mall in Melbourne, in the Pitt Street Mall in Sydney, wherever you bump into me, in the shopping centre in Karratha, and you say, Peter, I was on your webinar 12 weeks ago, and I remember I need to hear you say, or otherwise I've failed, be clear on what your one big message is, Peter. I remember you said be clear on what your one big message is. So ask yourself, if they only remember one thing, what is it? What do you want them to say? Trust. Without trust as a speaker, you will not have any impact. Why does it matter to them? So if you have a great message and no one cares, once again, you're going to lose influence and impact. And this is the what's in it for me. The pilot that spoke at the speakers conference, if you want to be a good professional speaker, if you want to have impact from the stage, then they're asking themselves, can I trust this speaker? So if you, he's referring to me in the audience, so Peter, if you want to be a good speaker, can the audience trust you? And then he gives us methods how. Should be able to write it down in one sentence. Be clear of your one big message. Does the audience trust you? One sentence, and everything else you do should support that. So you're going to tell stories, you're going to bring in data, you might have a 5-step process, 3 pillars of success, but they're all going to support that one big message. So we're on track to meet our targets, which means our bonuses are secure. We're on track to meet, my apologies. We're on track to meet our targets, which means our bonuses are secure. All right, let's talk about the scope of work we've got coming up for the next 6 months, the challenges I see, but the good news is we're on track, which means we're going to get our bonuses. So that is an example of one clear message. We're on track. We're on track to meet our targets. And then I'm going to show some data. I'm going to tell some stories of how we overcame one of our project delays. But good news is we're on track. Why do I care whether we're on track? Does that mean the shareholders are going to get more pay, more dividends? The share price is going up? Does that mean we're likely to lose jobs because our productivity is really good? Why do I care? You want me to work harder? You want me to work smarter? Oh, my bonuses are protected. Oh, okay, so we're on track to meet our targets, which means your bonuses are secure. What's your core message? And why smart people struggle to have a core message? So that clarity of message. They're too close to their content. They're an expert. They're a specialist, and they get into the detail. And they don't want to leave something out. I know so much about this, but wait, there's more, there's more, there's more. And the more I tell you, the smarter I sound. My credibility is linked to the more information I give you on this particular topic, and I give you information overload, and you can't remember what my core message was. So more information does not equal more influence. More information may lead to loss of influence, loss of impact. You can show your credibility with increased detail. That might be on the LinkedIn profile where you've written an article that supports this. That might be in the Q&A when you go into questions and answers and people go a level deeper, then you can answer that question. That's going to show you credibility. Three questions that create clarity. What do I want them to remember? Remember, write the sentence down. What do I want them to think or decide? So I'm asking them to make a decision, or am I asking them to remember some new information? So I'm giving them new information, new knowledge, or I'm asking them to decide, make a decision, take action, or what do I want them to do next? So next steps. So before you go on stage, before you go to the meeting, write your message in one sentence. Be clear of your one core message. Be clear of your one core message. Remove any jargon. Superfluous messages result in a loss of clarity. Remove any jargon and say it out loud to yourself. Does it make sense? Is it clear? So, three questions that create clarity. Let me just whiteboard this for a moment. My computer's loading a whiteboard, a little bit slow this morning, a bit like myself. Okay, so share. Okay, sharing the whiteboard. So ask yourself, what do I want them to, after you've spoken, what do I want them to do? What do I want them to think? What do I want them to feel? Do is action. What action do I want them to take after you've spoken? I often draw a line down the page and I put do, think, feel. What are they doing now? What are they thinking now? Knowledge. What action are they taking now? What do I want them to feel? What are they feeling now? What's the emotional response? And then on the other side of the page, after I've spoken, so action, after I've spoken, what do I want them to do? What do I want them to think? What do I want them to feel after I've spoken? What I want them to do after I've spoken is what action do I want them to take? What I want them to think after I've spoken is I'm now hoping to impart new knowledge. So they're going to walk away with new knowledge, new process, new information. What I want them to feel, a new emotional response. This is not acceptable. This can't go on any longer. And you'll see that normally one of those things, sometimes two, will be the purpose of your presentation. Having that clarity of purpose helps you work out what the one message is. So if you only do one thing today, go and review your snakebite first aid process. Yep, today I'm here to talk to you about snakebite first aid. Really important that we review our snakebite first aid. Why does that matter? There's been an increase in snakes activity And we want you to review your snakebite first aid process. So if you, a colleague or a friend, should interact with a snake adversely, you're up to date with the latest snakebite first aid procedures. So please go and review your snakebite first aid. That is a call to action. Core message, review your snakebite first aid. All right, new share. And screen one, share. So, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to think? And what do you want them to feel? Write your message down in one sentence, remove the jargon, and say it out loud. And when saying it out loud, you're internalizing it, but you're also checking, oh, that sounds clunky. Can I simplify it? Is your message clear enough? So the clarity check. Can you say it in one breath? Would someone else repeat it the same way? Does everything else support it, or does it compete with it? I read today that coffee is good for you. Last week I read that coffee can cause cancer. And this is a love-hate relationship that's been going on for years. Different research, coffee's good, coffee's bad. Red wine's good, red wine's bad. Red wine's good, red wine's bad. Your stories, your data, your case studies, your information all support, point to, amplify your core message. Is your message clear? Can you say it in one breath? From today, please make sure you have one big core message that everyone will remember. One big message that everyone will remember. What is your core message going to be for your next presentation? How clear was your core message from your last presentation? One message changes everything. It helps build confidence. People are absolutely sure on what you're talking about. And remember, the captain, the airline captain, can I trust them, is what you are looking at me. And when you speak, the audience is looking at you. And clarity of message helps to build the confidence, then enables you to be more influential, have impact, influence and impact. And it all starts with that one message. So wrapping up, short webinar today. Before your next meeting or your briefing or presentation or workshop, write your one message at the top of the page. Repeat it, learn it, does it make sense? Then look at all the other content you've got. The stories you're going to tell, the data you're going to use, the statistics. Does it support, amplify, intensify your core message? If it distracts, dilutes, then possibly that's not the right information for your core message. And while we put both sides of an argument forward, some of you will be thinking this is not going to work because such and such. However, and it's the however that you bring forward that amplifies, that deals with that objection, deals with that pushback, and amplifies your core message. So it does two things. It dispels those concerns, those doubts, those pushbacks, and amplifies your core message. And if it doesn't, then you should remove it. If a story is not aligned and amplifying your story, it may be the wrong story for that core message. One message, real impact. So what have I covered? Most communication fails for one reason: too much information, lack of clarity. What happens when the message isn't clear? I start thinking about a Thai green curry. You start to lose me. I get confused. You have little impact. The one message rule. Should be able to write it down in a sentence. Smart people struggle because they feel the more information they put in, the more credibility. Scientific conferences are the worst for this, where I get so much information. I just want to know what the so what is. The research paper that's published in the Australian Medical Journal or the Australian Association of Microbiologists, that will have the data, the confidence limits, all the information that you need, and you can touch on that. But all of that just should amplify your core message that this new antibiotic is looking promising. This new antibiotic that we found is looking really promising. The three questions that create clarity. Is your message clear enough? Can you say it in one sentence? Can you remember it? Three questions that create clarity. What do I want them to remember? What do I want them to do? What are they doing now? What do I want them to do after I've spoken? What do they know now? What are they thinking? What do I want them to think after I've spoken? What are they feeling now? What do I want them to feel after I've spoken? And one message changes everything, gives you that impact, gives you that influence, and people remember it. Workshops coming up. Perth, presentation skills, influence, how to be more influential. Then in Karatha, winning presentation skills and speaking off the cuff. And then in Perth again on the 3rd of July, thinking and speaking off the cuff. Love any comments, feedbacks, email peter@peterdew.com.au. Any questions, send me an email, and I shall end about 6 minutes early. So my question to you is, what is your core message coming up for your next presentation, for your next workshop? Clarity of core message means clarity of impact, and your audience walks away with that big overarching one thing. This is Peter Dew, public speaking trainer and coach. Bye for now.